Alright, what is up? So today what I'm going to be talking about is I'm going to be going over some really budget things that you will need as a filmmaker that they just really come in handy. Let's get into it. Okay, so these things that I'm about to show you are things that I personally use and I just find really helpful when making films because they're nice and cheap, they're budget friendly, but they do so much. Like some of these are some of the main things that I use while filmmaking. So, number one, buy a good, no, I'm just kidding. The first one is actually this lens hood right here. Now, lens hoods are they are such good items because number one, you can get them for every different lens. You can get them for every size. The thing is though, when I know some Sony lenses and I think the Canon L series lenses, they do come with lens hoods. But if you've got lenses like mine and they don't come with lens hoods, you're going to have to buy a separate one. You can get these for really cheap. They're not going to be metal or aluminium like the ones you will get with your lens. But this one, it's a nice plastic one. It's still going to do its job of protecting the lens. And it was $2 US. So this thing is insanely cheap. It does quite a lot. You can get them for every size. So this was $2 US and free shipping. So it's just it's a bargain. So I got it for my 67mm lenses. So you can chuck that on there. It's going to protect your lens. You can also, what you can do is you can flip it around like this. And then that's good for storage and whatnot. But it's a really, really valuable thing that I love to just either throw in my bag or just leave on my lens. Because you can use this for more than just protecting your lens as well. What you can do is you can chuck this on. And when you've got your camera in your hand, you can put one hand underneath the lens, one on the grip, and then you can put a finger underneath the lens hood, and you can get more stable shots. So that's a really nice thing, and I just find it so handy. Okay, so thing number two, what I forgot to mention is all of these deals are going to be under $50, $50 US. So this right here, this is an ND filter. Now it's not any normal ND filter because ND filters are great and all, but you've got to buy so many of them. So what you can buy is you can buy these variable ND filters. Now this isn't mine, I'm actually borrowing it from Daryl, thanks a lot. Actually, I'll leave the Metro Gallery website in the description because they're just awesome guys. And the way everybody describes these is they're like sunglasses for your lens. And I really don't like to say what everybody else says, but honestly, I see why they say it, because it pretty much is. What you want to do is, there's a thing called the 180 rule when you're filmmaking. If you're a filmmaker, you should know this. You've got to have your shutter speed double your frame rate. So right now I'm shooting in 24 FPS, so I've got my shutter speed at 1/50. The reason we do this is to get the most natural looking motion blur, and it's not going to be like all jittery and jumpy and looks weird like this. See how weird that looks? That's 1/800 and it looks just really weird and choppy. Now you want to keep this like all the time. You want to pretty much have your camera locked on this. But if you're going outside and it's really bright and you've got your ISO at 100, your aperture at whatever your aperture is, at the lowest aperture because you don't want to go up aperture because it gives you a softer image. If you're outside and it's just too bright, you can't do anything about it. You're saying, oh no, I've got to make my shutter speed faster. What you can do with these is you can put it on the lens and it makes it so that you can keep all your settings the same, but basically if you watch this, you can, as you turn it, it gets darker and lighter, which is really, really handy. So you put it at its darkest, like you just put this on, get it to the setting that you like, and you can start filming outside while keeping the right settings. Now, staying on the same track as filters, this is something else that it doesn't look like much at all. They're really cheap. I think they're like $5. And what this is it's a step down ring. So what this is you screw this onto your lens. This is what I do actually. People generally use these with ND filters, or just because like ND filters are so expensive, you buy one for your biggest lens and then you get these until you get your smallest lens. Another reason why you want to do this, I use this ND filter on 67mm lenses. If I were to have a 67mm one, when I turned that ND filter to its darkest setting, I'd get vignetting around the edges, which you don't want. That's why this is so helpful. You screw this onto the lens, you can use it at its darkest setting with no vignetting. And these are really nice because you can just use them for so many things. So chuck one of these on your ND filter, put it on, and you can just use it with every lens you have. Now next up, these things are the proper bang for your buck. These are little tiny lavalier microphones. Now these aren't something that you'd get from any normal website. You get these from AliExpress, which can sometimes be a little bit dodgy, but this isn't dodgy. So what these are little lavalier microphones that what you can do is you can plug them into your phone, you can run them into your phone or your camera. And what you can do is you can clip this little bit onto your shirt, and then when it's plugged in, this is your microphone. Now you may be thinking, for 50 cents and free shipping, these are not going to be very good. That's what I thought as well when I got them. But I'll give you a little surprise. You're listening to one right now. I'm filming this whole video on one of these little lavalier microphones. I've got 10 of them just because they're so cheap. I think it was $5 for 20 of them or something. Now, they sound really good, as you can tell. I wouldn't expect them to last the longest though, but they're so cheap you really can't go wrong. I did this and I didn't tell anyone. In the color grading video, I was actually using one of these to record the whole video's audio. It's nice colors back, even though it doesn't look like it, except for the Premiere Pro bit. But most of the video that was set up like this was filmed using one of these. So that just goes to show you don't actually need a lot of equipment. The one problem I have with these is they're not the longest. So right now, if I have one here, to connect it to the camera, you'd see a big cable like that going through the camera. So what I've actually got mine attached to at the moment is just a cheap, well, you can get them really cheap, just an auxiliary, a 3.5mm headphone extension cord. I got them with my headphones. A lot of headphones nowadays come with them. But you can probably, I'll link one below. It'll probably be $5 or something. But it's just really, really handy. And last, but definitely not least, these are pieces of plastic, literally. I have no idea how much they are. I'd say they're about 10 cents. But these are little SD card holders. These are so handy. I can't even tell you how handy they are. You've got these tiny little SD cards. They're tiny. They're really hard to keep track of when you just throw them in your bag. You've got to go searching for them. These things, you just pop them in, and it makes it so much easier to find your SD cards. It's just buy some of these, buy 20 of them or something. or just look around your house for some, because generally SD cards will come with these anyway. They'll come inside of them. So actually keep the packaging for your SD cards and get this out of it, because I've got so many of these and I just can't tell you enough how useful they are, because it's just a little clip, open SD card out into the camera. And then what you can also do, since these are plastic and like super cheap, is you can label them. So like if you're out on a day's shoot, you could buy like 10 of these, and then when the SD card is full, take it out of the camera, put it into one of these, and like write with a Sharpie or something full. And then you don't have to like put this one in and be like, oh no, this one's full. Go and find another one, that one's full. And then you've got to keep looking through them. You just know. Take a look, oh, it's full. Oh, it's full. Oh, it's empty. They're so helpful. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hopefully you did enjoy. I tried to do something a little bit different, but all of these deals are actually really great things. And coming up, there's going to be a whole lot of Christmas and Boxing Day sales, and maybe New Year sales as well. So if you look out for these things around about this time, then you're like bound to find some really good deals on them. So hopefully you enjoyed. I'm Josh. Sleep well.